Hey, Algebra 1 students, Mr. Foster here. I'm one of the Algebra 1 teachers, and we're going to go through the order of operations notes in case you need help with any of this or need to go back over it. First, order of operations is really nothing more than a set of rules we use in math that tells us what order to do things in when we have more than one operation going on. So, for example, you can have multiplication, division, subtraction, addition, um, exponents going on. Sometimes you have parentheses and brackets going around things. So it can get a little confusing. And believe it or not, it really does matter what order you do things in because you can get different answers. And therefore, if we did that all the time, math wouldn't be so precise. And math is a very precise thing. So let's talk about two different ways you can do this. The old school way, the way that you may have already been taught, was PEMDAS. So PEMDAS says we're going to do things in this order. First, we're going to look at parentheses. Then we're going to look at exponents. Then we're going to look at multiplication and division. And those, we're going to do whatever, those are kind of at the same level, but we're going to do whatever comes first, left to right. Left to right. And then we have addition and subtraction. And we're going to do those again in the order of left to right. Whatever happens off to the left first between those two is going to happen first. Now this year, and we're going to be looking at a different potential way of dealing with this. And this one is called GEMS. It really gets us to the same place, but it has some advantages, I think. So GEMS says first we're going to do groupings. So anytime you see parentheses or these funny brackets, we're going to do those. And really it's outside in, or I should say inside out. You're going to do the inner brackets first and then the next brackets. And then next we're going to look at exponents. Then we're going to do multiplication and division left to right. So that should sound familiar. Then we're going to do subtraction and addition left to right. So the big difference is that G. So what's similar is I would say, first of all, they both get you there. They get us the answer. So they have the same results. They're both actually, I'd say they're both mnemonic devices. In other words, they're letters for words that help us remember the order. Don't worry about spelling that one right. That's not even that important. They both keep exponents as the second rule. That's all I can come up with. And then how are they different? Well, for me, GEMS is more specific about how we deal with groupings. It's also, to me, it kind of clarifies that multiplication and division are at the same level. As well as addition and subtraction, they're at the same level. So it just makes that a little more clear to me. All right, so at this point, think about in your own mind which those you seem to prefer at this point. We're going to work through some problems coming up. All right, so in this problem, we're looking at 3 divided by, or I should say 3 parentheses negative 5 close parentheses squared. And when we think about gems, we're looking at groupings. Well, really, it's kind of a grouping because of the parentheses. It has the negative in there. It just says the negative happens inside. Can't do anything with that. So now we're just going to go ahead and apply what comes after groupings. It's exponents. So our first step here is just going to be to evaluate this piece and say negative 5 times negative 5. I'm going to write that out actually. And when we calculate that using correct order, we're going to say that's 3 with times 25. And so we would simplify that to be 75. All right. Moving on to number 2. We don't have any grouping symbols, so there's no parentheses or brackets there. So we're going to look at exponents. We don't have any exponents. So we're going to go on to, so we passed G, we passed E, and we're going to say M is multiplication and division. We do have that, and that we remember we do those just left to right. Everything left here is division and multiplication, so we're going to do them just left to right. So I'm literally just going to do this first. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And for myself, just so I keep it in order, I'm going to write the rest. Then I'm going to do this. 6 times 3 is 18 divided by 2. And so that our final answer is just going to be 9. All right, now 3 is a chance for us to really use all of the gems. We have a couple of different groupings in there. So remember, we do groupings inside out. So I'm going to rewrite part of this as one. Whoops, I didn't mean to be in red. $162 divided by, and so we have that bracket, 6 times, and then this is really the thing I want to do next. It's just this part. That is, what is 7 minus 4? Well, that's going to become 3, and that's still squared, and then that's all still in a bracket. So now inside, we're going to do everything inside those brackets first. And so now we go back to gems. So we don't have to do any, there's no more further grouping inside, but we do have to do the exponent first. So that's 162 divided by 6. And then that exponent is 3 times itself, which is 9. So using gems again, we're going to do this part first. So we have 162 divided by 54. And now it's simple. There's only one operation left. 162 divided by 54. That's going to give us 3. Moving on to number 4. The minus signs can be tricky. But just remember, again, those happen in the order of operations. So the first thing I see here is a grouping of 3 minus 7. So I'm going to do this part first. Right here. That's the first thing I want to do. So I'm going to rewrite this. Negative. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. And that's squared, minus 1 all over. I can go ahead and settle that part below the line. So 16 minus 11 is 5. Now, gems, I've done grouping. Now I'm going to do exponent. What is negative 4 times itself? So I'm going to keep that minus sign out there. And I'm going to say negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. All of that still has the minus 1 coming. And all of that's over 5. And negative 16 minus 1 is going to be negative 17. And all of that's over 5. Actually, that should have been my answer. I'll go ahead and box it. All right, the last couple of problems we have are really not that much different, except there's a step that comes first because we're evaluating expressions where we have to substitute in these values, 12, -9. Actually, I'm going to do those in different colors. 12, -9, and we'll go with maybe a green. -4. All right. So all I'm going to do is take the A, B, and C, and if I see an A, I'm going to substitute 12. If I see a B, I'm going to substitute -9. If I see a C, I'm going to substitute -4. So I'm going to leave space for the ones that we're going to substitute in for. Now, I need A squared. So A is 12. And that's still squared. Sorry, I'm being a little clunky here. Divided by 4 times whatever B is, and we see that B is -9. Plus whatever C is, and in this case it's -4. So I've color-coded and added those in. You won't need to do that. Just trying to show you where those numbers came from. So now we're going to solve GEMS, groupings. So we have this giant grouping. We're going to do everything in here first. Everything in there first. So inside the grouping, it's exponents first. So 12 squared is 144. Divided by 4 minus 9. That's still in the grouping. Plus -4 is just -4. Now, inside the grouping, I have a division and a subtraction. So we know that division comes first. So that's going to be 144 divided by 4, which is 36, minus 9. And all that's going to be -4. Inside the group, 36 minus 9 is 25. -4. And then finally, 25 minus 4 is 21. All right, so before I move on to number 6, you should probably pause me, try that, and then come back and check against my work. Hopefully you're back from pausing now. All right, so what I'm going to do again is substitute in these 3 values, 12, -9, and -4 for A, B, and C in that equation, and then go from there. I'm going to write the 12, and that's going to be times the C value, which is -4, and I'm going to put that in parentheses just so that I know, because I see what's happening next. I'm going to put -4 in a parenthesis and make sure that I know that all of that negative and the 4 are what's getting squared. And then that's going to be minus our B value, which is -9. So it's minus -9. I'm keeping those separate, the minus and the minus, because it does a funny thing when you have minus minus. And then all of that's going to be over C, which again is -4, or plus 7. Okay, so we don't have any groupings other than the giant line that divides the top and the bottom, and that really does tell us do all the stuff on top, do all the stuff on the bottom, then put them together. So the first thing we have to deal with, we don't have any groupings up top to worry about. So we're going to do exponents. -4 times itself is going to be, so we get the 12 times -4 times -4, which is +16. And minus 9 is going to be +9. And all of that's going to be over -4 plus 7 is going to be +3. Simplifying now, we've done groupings. There's no more exponents, so it's multiplication. So on top, 12 times 16 is 192. Plus 9 all over 3. 192 plus 9 is 201 over 3. And now we can go ahead and do that final thing, which is 201 over 3, which is 201 divided by 3. And we find that that is exactly 67. All right, those last two are fairly complex. Hopefully your mistakes in there, if they were minor, maybe the minus signs, they show how careful you have to be when using order of operations. Lastly, we would like you to do the reflection question, which is take a look at all the stuff we've done above. If you had any problems on those, which one do you think might have been the most difficult for you? And then do you think maybe we had a common mistake in our class? And explain. That's it. Thanks for listening. Hope this was helpful. Take care.